Buenos días a todas.
Hello, good morning, everybody. 10 minutes, is that all? Well, I will try to.
Yo sí voy a intentar explicar.
I'm going to try to explain what we do and how we try to manage talent in a specific group of people which has been historically excluded from society, and a group of people where at moments of crisis we do have the chance, we do have the opportunity to develop a more including society and to be citizens with full rights. At other historical moments in time, we have not been able to do. Therefore, for us, this moment in time is difficult for everybody, of course. But from our perspective, it provides a possibility, an opportunity for personal development and social development for disabled people. Very briefly, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about ONCE. It is an integrated reality. It is a reality integrated by different entities of legal nature, and it's very different. And we have all kinds of disabled people. Just over 20 years ago now, in 1988, the ONCE decided to form the ONCE Foundation for the social cooperation and integration of disabled people, as an instrument to place this at the disposal of other people, telling them what ONCE had already done and how this group had a presence in our country and was integrated. That is why it created the ONCE Foundation. Our main or priority objective in 1988, that is, was to foster labor integration programs, training, employment for disabled people. This is the objective at that time, because in Spain at that time, the people joining the labor markets at that time was very low. So we considered that one of the difficulties that these people, or the disabled people, had to face at that time was the difficulty in accessing employment. Another of the objectives is to foster universal accessibility, fostering the creation of environments, products, and services that are universally accessible. Why? Well, if you don't design considering or thinking about everybody, there's a large number of people who are excluded, especially disabled people, but other people, other groups of people too. So when you design a new software and you don't consider the needs of blind people, well, these people won't be able to have access to those programs. And when you design a building and you don't think about people who have mobility difficulties, well, those people will not be able to enter that building and won't be able to enjoy the services that are offered there. If leisure isn't inclusive, well, we can't take part in equal conditions as the other citizens. Therefore, that is why it is so important that when you design the products, the services, that we should bear in mind each and every person. ONCE Foundation, when it was created, I say we've got an employment problem and nobody gave an opportunity or a chance for disabled people to work. So we wanted to give an example, and there were no work options for our group. So what we did was to create the actual companies. And so we created the Fundosa group, which is 20 years old this year. And we created it to increase employment possibilities of disabled people and generating employment ourselves. Our objective, thus, was to generate and manage employment for disabled people in our special employment centres, and also favouring or acting as giving an example to other organisations, other enterprises, other companies, and so that to encourage them to recruit disabled people too. There's a commitment of solidarity in that group. And every day we can see there is harmony between the business efficiency and social commitment. Today, our Fundosat group has a staff of more than 16,000 employees, of whom 70% are disabled people with all types of disability, all over the country, all ages, and all types of people, with our extensive supply in technological, industrial services sectors, etc., with the aim of social inclusion of these people in industry and also in the social health sector and others. After introducing you, a little about our foundation, I'd like to briefly refer to, when I say disabled people, what am I talking about? Well, in Spain, there are 4 million people in Spain, which is 8.5% of the talent. Professor Florida said that people with disabled people also have talent. Well, also, of course, also. These social environments is an environment where there's fear of being different. So people with disability didn't want to be different. But now we're all very interested in integrating diversity. And disabled people are precisely the part of this diversity, because we are different, diverse in the typology of our disabilities, and the limitations of our capabilities. Each person will have a different disability, and it's diverse because the group of people with disabilities as such shouldn't exist. We are women with disability. We are women over the age of 45 with disability, women over 45, immigrants and with a disability. So in the end, there are a whole series of factors in our group which is negatively affecting our social inclusion. And this is multiplies. And thus our possibility of social inclusion decreases. We have skills. We all have skills, capabilities. We just have to find them. We have to look for them. Everybody has talent, just like anybody else. And we are used to identifying the capacities, the skills of people with disabilities. And why do we do this? That is because we are used to choosing people or selecting people with disability, and we don't see the limitation of the people, just the opposite. We have to identify their abilities, their skills, to integrate them into the working market. By identifying the skills, the capabilities, we will find jobs that they adapt to and will be able to perform efficiently. For many years now, we have been doing this, identifying capabilities, skills, and even residual capabilities. And this is very important because if a person has managed to develop a certain number of capabilities or skills, that means that the limitation they've got is reduced because they've had to manage by themselves. They've had to overcome barriers and had to find solutions to their daily problems. We've talked about dreams. The previous speaker talked about dreams, enthusiasm, yesterday and today. Many people with disability, when they get up, of course, they've got dreams like anybody else, but they have to solve problems right from the many moments when they get up, or when somebody helps them get out of bed, because not everybody with a disability can manage for themselves and get out of bed on their own. And they have to start to solve problems because they have to go out. It's a question of accessibility. There isn't And they have to leave if they manage to leave their houses, they have to see how on a wheelchair, if they can cross the